Pressure on Iran continues unabated. The United States confirms the deployment of additional forces to the Middle East. American strike groups led by aircraft carriers are being sent to the region. The Pentagon officially emphasizes that these are preventive and defensive measures. But in diplomacy, such a move is always treated as a political signal. Washington wants to be ready for any scenario, even the most extreme.
The truth is, only President Trump knows what he's going to do, and a very, very small team of advisors are read into his thinking on that. And as I just told you, he continues to closely monitor the situation on the ground in Iran. And as we saw yesterday, he had heard that the killings and executions would stop. And we have seen 800 people, their lives have been spared as a result of that. The president continues to closely monitor, but also keep all of his options on the table.
At the same time, the pressure shifted to the international arena. In New York, at the initiative of the United States, an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council was held on the situation in Iran. The deliberations focused on both the ongoing protests and the risk of external escalation. Calls for de-escalation and diplomacy were the first to be heard. Representatives of the UN Secretary General warned that tensions within Iran and threats of military action were fueling each other. In their view, any ill-considered move could lead to an uncontrollable regional crisis.
In this context, we note with alarm various public statements suggesting possible military strikes on Iran. This external dimension adds volatility to an already combustible situation.
These words did not go unanswered by Tehran. The Iranian delegation rejected suggestions that the country was seeking escalation and at the same time issued a clear warning to the United States and its allies. The tone of the statement was calm, but the message was clear.
Iran seeks neither escalation nor confrontation. However, any act of aggression, direct or indirect, will be met with a decisive, proportionate, and lawful response under Article 51 of the Charter. This is not a threat. It is a statement of legal reality. Responsibility for all consequences will rest solely with those who initiate such unlawful acts.
A few minutes later, there was a sharp response from the United States. The American ambassador rejected Tehran's narrative that the protests were inspired from outside and directly accused the Iranian regime of systematically using violence against its own citizens. The speech was clearly confrontational in nature.
President Trump is a man of action, not endless talk like we see at the United Nations. He has made it clear all options are on the table to stop the slaughter. And no one should know that better than the leadership of the Iranian regime.
People got killed.
However, the highlight of the meeting was the speech by Iranian journalist and opposition activist Masih Alinejad. Instead of political declarations, she cited specific names and stories of victims. The room fell silent.
Siavash Shirzad, 30 years old. His family begged him not to go to the streets because of his safety. He said to his family, I go to the street to celebrate the victory of our revolution because President Trump promised to rescue our lives. He was killed by the same Revolutionary Guards. Negin Qadimi, 20 years old. She died in her father's arms after being shot by the Revolutionary Guards member. I feel guilty that I don't name the rest. The list of names goes on and on. They knew they will face guns and bullets, but they wanted justice.
Meanwhile, only fragmentary information is coming out of Iran itself. Many regions still have no internet access, and access to independent sources is severely restricted. Witnesses report the presence of military personnel on the streets and heightened security checks. We haven't heard anything from Iran for 3 days. We have no contact with our families. From what Turkish television is showing, the situation looks calmer, but we don't know what's really going on. Pressure on Iran is mounting on several levels simultaneously: military, diplomatic, and political. The United States is demonstrating its readiness to act. The UN is calling for restraint, and Tehran is sending deterrent signals. For the region, this is a moment of suspense, in which each subsequent move may determine whether the situation will be brought under control or escalate into an open crisis.